Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Michael Hartley with Action Coach. What needs to pivot in my business, kickstart your day, get you refocused, because business is changing daily right now. Well, good morning everyone, and welcome to What Needs to Pivot. I am Dr. Michael Hartley, a non-medical type of doctor. I operate on business. I'm fortunate enough to have a PhD in business strategy and innovation. I always kind of thought it should be opposite way around, innovation and then strategy, because you have to create the idea and then identify the strategy to put it behind it. At any rate, which is perfect for this type of year, this time and place, the situations we're all walking through right now, because we must innovate and we must understand the right strategies to put in place to move ourselves and our businesses forward. So we start every morning with what needs to focus and pivot in our mindset. Where are we at with our mindset? How strong is it? Is today a good day? Is today starting out rough? Is it ending rough? What do we need to do to make sure that we pivot, we shift, we change our mindset? People don't like the word change. A lot of people don't. Business owners tend to. Our teams don't. So we tend to, instead of using the word change, we use words like pivot and shift and stuff like that to make it a little bit softer. At the end of the day, it's change. And we need to be able to move forward. We need to be able to push through that. And so what we're going to be talking about today is going to be your mindset, and then also how to make sure that we are retaining 100% of our customers, our clients, our subscribers, our guests, our patients, however you classify those that spend and invest money with your business. Those are the two topics we're going to be talking about today. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how to get connected. So mindset, building a strong mindset. Emotions, where are your emotions at right now? How do you understand how to gauge your emotions on a daily basis? It's interesting because the average human can only think through a handful of different emotions. And yet there are way more out there than we tend to think about. We tend to think about 10 at any given time. And yet there's way more. Atlas of Emotion is this website that actually kind of walks you through it. And so you can actually start to pinpoint what emotions are you actually feeling in the moment at that time, instead of just being, constricted to the 5 or 10 that you normally ever think about. How do we make sure that our emotions are where they need to be? It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about understanding how to maintain the right type of emotion in the period of time that we are at. Sometimes you need more emotion than other times. And sometimes there are really good reasons to have strong emotions. Question is how do you make sure that they're what they need to be? So starting to create journals, starting to understand all the different types of emotions and going, this is kind of what I'm feeling right now. Let me dive into that a little bit, because when you start to really identify the emotions that you're feeling, you can then start to dissect the core root cause of it. When I talk about the core root cause, we're often talking about, a symptom of a problem versus the actual reason for it. So if we kind of look at that, if we go, okay, so a symptom, if all of a sudden somebody reacts to something going on, okay, well, they seem angry. Symptom. They just lashed out. Symptom. They're crying. They're laughing. They're on the floor rolling around. Whatever it is. Symptom. What's the actual causality of it? When we start to dissect and really dive into what that is, we can actually address it and either make sure we get that more often or start to get it less often. Remove it. The positive things, we want to put more of that into our life. The negative things, we want to really start to remove. So we need to understand what the core root causes of stuff are. That's why when we look at business, we say revenue is a symptom. Profit is a symptom. Retaining customers or losing customers, retaining team or losing team are symptoms. The core root cause we have to look into. Well, revenue core root cause would be repeat business. How much of that do we have? How much are people spending? How good are we at sales and converting people into giving us money? How good are we at getting them to the table in the first place and in front of us? Are we doing business development, going out into the marketplace? Are we doing marketing where it's inbound and people are coming to us? We have to look at all of those because those end up becoming the core root cause. And oftentimes when we look at all of those, we can say, okay, so, revenue is not where it needs to be. Maybe there's a couple things that we need to focus on, or maybe there's just one right now. And when we address that one, it'll increase what we need to do. And then we get to the next one. You see, in business and in life, there are certain things that we do in sequence and certain things that we do in parallel. So when we look at your emotions, the core root cause of them, what are they? And how do we address that and move it forward? Identifying pain points, understanding what is causing us to feel uncomfortable. And what I'll share with you is when you get really comfortable sprinting through the zone of discomfort, growth can actually take place. So we need to make sure that we have the right understanding of the pain points we have. It's called perturbation. It's the concept of being perturbed and knowing if we're applying the right pressure or the wrong pressure, positive pressure or negative pressure. What are we actually doing here? Identifying pain points in your business, identifying pain points in your life that okay, this is something that I need to specifically work on because it's a consistency. It's consistently a pain point that I have. Then we look at closing the gap on knowledge. See, every podcast you watch, every book you read or listen to, every conference you go to, every webinar you join should make an increase in your life. Whether that is quality of life, whether that is in producing more for the business, whether that is being a better parent or spouse at home, being a better friend, being a better mentor, whatever this is, everything that you do in the learning phase should have an increase in your life somewhere. So if you're here today, if you're watching this right now, you're looking for something. You're looking for knowledge around some topic, or you're looking for inspiration for the day, or you're looking just to shift my mindset and say, you know what? Right now, it's really hard to have a tough, solid, strong mindset. And so I just need a little bit of extra encouragement to get me kickstarted for the day or to end my day the right way. You're here for a purpose, which means that there should be an increase in your life based on being here today. What is that? Are you walking into this specific thing intentionally saying, this is what I want to get out of today? This is the intended result of jumping into this for 15 to 20 minutes every single morning or every single night online. What is the intended outcome that you're looking for? What's the increase you're looking for? Be intentional with it. We talk a lot about when you become intentional with everything that you do, you set your RAS, the reticular activating system. It's this thing back here in the brain. It's the compass. Simplest example that we use all the time. When you go get a new car and you drive off that lot, the very first thing that you see everywhere is that vehicle because you've set your RAS, you've set the reticular activating system of your brain. So when you're walking into this, when you're reading a book, when you're recording a video, when you're maybe writing a book, when you're writing a blog post, when you are watching something tonight, when it comes to a podcast or a webinar, or, if you're watching this, we do these webinars all the time. What's the intention that you're looking to get out of it? What's the increase you're looking for? Be specific with it. When you become specific, the more honed in, the more clarity you have, now your brain's actually focused on it. Now it's actually on that path. That's why we say start every day with an I am statement. I am what? I am a money magnet. I'm a client magnet. I'm the best father, spouse, partner that I possibly can be today. I am increasing the lives of those I interact with today. What are your I am statements? You see, when our brain is focused, honed in, sniper focused, it's not a shotgun approach. We are specific on what we are looking to get. We can actually go get it. So mindset, super important. Then we get into the major business topic today, which is retention. And when we look at times like this, we want to make sure that we have 100% customer client retention. And there are a handful of things that we need to look at. The formula itself is fairly straightforward, which is results in relationship. So when we look at, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, which are the glass ceilings that we set for ourselves. What do we think is possible? So many businesses have just walked into this situation going, well, I guess we're going to lose all of our customers. Oh, I guess we just can't do business right now. I guarantee there's something that you can shift in your business to still gain revenue. Guaranteed. There is something that you can do. There's some sort of value added to your customer base that you can do to maintain revenue. And when we talk about locally owned businesses, quote unquote small businesses, I'm not a believer in small business. The reason why I say that, and let me clarify that, is because I believe every business is a big business in training. Every business is a medium to large size business in training. So while you may actually be a small business today, that's not necessarily where you end the journey. So what are those glass ceilings that you have in yourself right now around client retention? Simple formula: results times relationship. Results you get, multiply the relationship that you build. So first question, why did they join in the first place? Why did they become a customer, a client, a guest, a subscriber, a patient? What was that initial reason versus why do they stay long-term? Why do they keep coming back? Oftentimes it is different. And so we want to make sure that we're consistently hitting on both of those reasons. We want to make sure that we're consistently focused on the reason why they joined in the first place and the reason why they've stayed and the reason why customers or clients stay long-term for you in general. What are those reasons? Maybe you need to outline those today. And maybe you need to make sure that those are the points of communication that you have to your customers over the next 2 weeks. Why did they join versus why did they stay? Again, focusing on results and relationship. Then we get into the 3 levels of experience or customer service: client experience, customer service. I've spent the majority of my adult career focused on these 3 things with luxury automotive brands in the hospitality industry. I've had the fortune of traveling around the world teaching this stuff. Automotive brands like Maserati and Lexus and Lincoln Motor Company and Audi and Mercedes-Benz, and the list kind of goes on. Porsche, hospitality, Mandarin Oriental, Kimpton, Four Seasons, St. Regis. You see, when those who are to be the best in hospitality are looking for areas to increase their customer service and their client experience, if they do that, what does that tell us? They're the leaders in the world around it. So what if we took 1%, 10% maybe even, of what that is and applied it to our business gradually, month over month, year over year? What would that turn into? 3 levels are what's expected, what's appreciated, and then what's distinguished. I'm gonna go through those 3 again. What's expected? What's expected of your customers to your business? What does that look like? What's appreciated? What may cause me to kind of pause and go, oh, that was really kind of nice? At Action Coach, we call those C&Es, critical non-essentials. What are those things for each one of your VIP, top level customers and clients? And then we get to the top level. What creates truly distinguished moments? And what's really cool here is when we look at creating distinguished moments, there's a lot of innovation that gets to take place. And it's not necessarily about spending all this money. It's about being intentional, which is why on Mindset, I talked a lot about being intentional with things, because business owners tend to struggle with what would actually create a distinguished moment, a distinguished experience for the customer, because they're confined to thinking in the current state. It's why when we sit down with business owners for the very first time and we start talking about where does business need to be 3 years from now, they're thinking through the lens of today without being able to actually branch their mind out to say, oh, my business 3 years from now will be different. And so the things I'm focusing on in 3 years will be different than where they are today. Our minds just kind of struggle with that until we've learned how to do it. And so think through, ask your coach when the time is right to focus on how to actually think in the right way to create distinguished moments for your customers. Because right now could be the time where you need to focus on it. Right now, it could also be the worst time to focus on it. Depends on your business, depends on the state of your business, depends on the state of your customer experience and current customer and client, relations. So if it's not where it needs to be, then we need to get that to where it needs to be. Once we are at least hitting expected consistently, and then we're hitting appreciated consistently, now we can go focus on distinguished. If you're not hitting those first two levels consistently, then it's pointless to focus on the top level. We got to get the first two foundationally set. So maybe it's a list of everything that is expected of your clients. If you're watching this right now, you should be writing that list. If you're watching it recorded, you should be pausing this and writing that list right now. What are all the things that are expected of my customers with my business? And then what would be considered appreciated? What would cause them to kind of pause and say, oh, that was really nice of them? And again, you should be writing that list. What are all those things? And by the way, if you're building out strategic partners in your business, you should be building out this list for the strategic partners and the customers, the end customer that they would be sending to you. Then we can get to distinguish, and that's a whole other topic. It's a whole other conversation, because you have to walk through a lot of things and to get to the point where your mind is actually prepared to think through that properly. Otherwise, you're just going to be thinking through it through the current lens, and you're going to come up with some good ideas, not some world-class ideas, which is really the intention of that. So create those first two lists of the three levels: what's expected and what's appreciated. And then how do we create systems around these things to make sure that they are forever consistent? And then we get down to the bottom level topic, which is positioning gives the audience a path towards success. So once we've identified why people join versus stay, once we've identified what they expect and what they find appreciated about our business, now we have to position them with all of this stuff. When we position our team, our strategic partners, our customers, our clients with the proper wording, visuals, maybe something physical, tangible, when we properly position, it now sets up whomever the audience is of those audiences, a path towards success, a path towards retention. When we do this properly, it can help remove some of these glass ceilings we've set in our mind around client retention, customer experience, customer service, client experience, client retention, the relationships we build, the results that we can eventually go get. If you're watching this right now and you are not writing those lists, you are wasting your time. You should never watch this ever again if you're not actually going to take action on it. Now, conversely, if you are finding immense value out of this, where you are watching it consistently over and over again, what I ask of you are two things. The very first one is that you invite 3 people to the next one. Invite 3 people as soon as this one is done to the very next one, if you are gaining value from this. Now, the second thing I want you to do is one of 2 things. Either go online and give us a review saying the value you get. That's the first one. Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever. Give us a review so that way we can then share with others to get them in. Because what we are finding is for those that are consistently engaged with this and taking action, it is shifting their day every single day, which is why we keep doing this. We keep doing it every day because of the responses that we get. Now, if we're getting that responses, that means that those people, the majority of you watching this right now, should be inviting a couple others to the next one. The other thing, so if you're not looking to give a review online of what you're getting out of it, what I would like for you to do then is join us on our next major webinar. These daily ones are really good. The next major one we have, which is around taking our 90-day quarterly plans and focusing on the next 30 days specifically, we're going to keep pivoting that. It's about 2.5 hours once a month. Join us for that. We can actually help make sure that your plan is the right plan with when you get to reopen, or how you have pivoted, or maybe some new things that you need to pivot if you're not currently pivoting as much as you can, or preparing for the sprint ahead, preparing that path forward to say, okay, so when we open doors, here's what we're doing, so that way we can sprint when our doors open again. It's that straightforward of my request to you today. So create your list, create identifiable action plans for each one. What are the systems we need to go create to get this needle moving forward? And then share it. Sharing your dreams will weed out the morons in your life. I love this quote from Brad. He talks a lot about creating massive dreams and keeping focus on where this whole thing is heading. And he talks a lot about, surround yourself with the right people, because when you share your dreams with people, It's a very easy way to weed out the morons in your life, because those that say that's not possible, those that say you're dreaming too big, those that give negative energy towards that are, thank you for coming. I'm either going to reduce my interaction with you or completely remove it. And for those that say, man, that is so amazing. You are taking the bull by the horns, if you will, to use that analogy from here in Texas. Those are the people you want to surround yourself with. Surround yourself with people who are going to push you towards where you want to be versus pull you back. And if you're not connected with us, get connected. It's real simple. Every Thursday, 11 o'clock Central Time, virtual networking. We do it in a different way where we're adding value every single time. You can get more information right there, dmh.actioncoach.com/networking. There's a quick video about it, and there's also about a 50-minute to 60-minute webinar on how to get the most out of networking that we did. So feel free to jump into that as well. And who are the networks that you need to be building right now? Who are those partnerships that you need to be focused on, those relationships right now in this moment? If you have questions around mindset or around retention, please type them in, whether that is live on the Q&A or recorded on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere that this kind of gets put. Feel free to put that into the comments if you're not watching this live, and we'll get back to you. I'm Dr. Michael Hartley. I'm here to elevate your business, enhance your lifestyle, and take one step today. Take one step today. Because when we focus on shifting that first 1%, and then tomorrow 1%, and then the next day 1%, our life is dramatically different 12 months from now. Bye for now, y'all.